Hey fams, welcome to this word podcast with Minister Neka Ifezive. It's not just another moment, it is a life transforming encounter. We are here to inform you, impact you, and transform your life. Get ready, stay tuned, expect something powerful. So today I will be discussing or talking on the topic self awareness. How much do you know yourself? Self awareness is simply knowing yourself, your inner world and your outer world. How much do you know about yourself? I'm going to be resting on you knowing what is going on within your thoughts. There are types of self awareness, but I don't want to go into that. I just want to bring words that we can relate with at this point. All right. And I want us to talk on thoughts. Are you aware of your thoughts? Now, self awareness is not just knowing what is happening in your inner world or outer world, it is also knowing what is happening in your inner world and outer world, understand it, and be able to have control over it. Okay, so how much control do you have over your thought? I want to be using a story to portray this topic. The story is concerning two characters. So one is called Joseph. His character is Ammon. Now listen very carefully to this story. Ammon was from a very wealthy home, polygamous home, and somehow to know that he's beginning to lust after his sister Tamar. And he know in his thoughts that what he is feeling is a hard thing. It's not going to be easy to achieve. And somehow, because he was so engrossed with thoughts to the extent that he fell sick. I know some of you can relate. What are those thoughts that have made you sick? Thoughts of fear of the unknown, thought of fear of what your dad, your mommy will do to you because you have done something wrong, and suddenly you will become beginning to feel unease, which happens sometimes, and sometimes thought of fear of taking the action that you have been forced to take by peer pressure. So, in this case, Ammon had fever as a result of his lust for his own half sister. And it matters who you talk to about some matters. So, in this case, Ammon has got a cousin brother whose name was Jonadab, but he is very cunning. Imagine, Ammon knows that Jonadab was a cunning person, and you tell me, someone cunning, tricky, is that person a good friend? Is he a kind of friend that you like to have around you? Because you never can tell what he will do to you. So in this case, Jonadab counseled Ammon to do something wrong. Instead of rebuking him, he encouraged Ammon to move ahead with his thought and also to execute it. And when Ammon did, that cost his life. Jonadab was still alive when Ammon died. That is why you must be careful of the friends you keep. He was self aware of what his feelings were. He understood it, but how to take control, say no to this wrong feeling was the challenge. And that cost his life. Then the second character is a man called Joseph. He was 17, teenager, when he was sold to slavery by his siblings, older siblings. And what happened? Joseph was taken to the house of a wealthy man. And what happened? He was a good boy, and his master entrusted a lot into his hand. But something happened. Suddenly, Joseph's master's wife began to seek Joseph. She wanted Joseph to have an affair with her. Some of the young people of these days says what you have that you used to get what you want. And to some, it seems so easy. It seems harmless. But in the case of Joseph, he was aware of whom he was. He had some values on himself. Another thing that self-awareness does to a person, it helps you to know your values. So Joseph had values. He had respect for his master. He has honor for his God. And another thing, he knew he was not an ordinary person. That is why when it was time to sin against his God, he said no to it. He said, I cannot do this great wickedness and sin against God. That is great wickedness against his boss and great sin against his God. He was aware of whom he was. He was able to have control over this situation around him. Joseph, in one of the days, had to flee because she had his clothes. It's like, today, not today. You must do it. It's possible he was busy arranging their room and she just came over and said, there is no how you're going to escape today. And what happened? Joseph left his clothes and fled. You see, these two characters. One was aware, so he had self-awareness of his situation. He had understanding of his situation, and he had a control. While the other person understood his feelings, he understood the consequences, but he lacked the power of control over his situation. And it cost him his life. While Joseph, it brought him to the palace. You compare. So you must be careful of what goes through your thoughts. Because Joseph was engrossed with the thoughts of pleasing his master and his God, he was able to stand against his master's wife. But in the case of Ammon, he knew what was going on in his thoughts. He knew it was wrong, but he wasn't able to have control over it. So over time, he would have been able to overcome. But because he has got a bad friend who tricked him into doing the wrong thing, it cost him his life. And for Joseph, he was just a friend with his God. And it took him to the palace. Another thing, do you know your God? Do you, as a young person, to know your God and to follow your God more than following your friends? So, what is your take on this? All these characters are taken from the book of the Bible. And meanwhile, how did this relate to your thoughts and your decisions in the past? Think about it and leave a comment on the comment section.